Welcome. Welcome to the lab. I'm your host. What do you got going on here? Good enough. What's up? How's it going, everybody? Turn that music down a little bit because it's distracting. It's a nice tune, but you know, it's annoying. What's going on? How are you? Cooking dinner is getting my way of watching YouTube. Yeah. Ramen's fast. Good to see you. How are you? Ramen's fast. Ramen's simple. All right. What we got going on here? Here's Joshy. Yeah, I remember that, huh? Yeah, I'm back. I certainly am back. Anyway, welcome to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. It's good to be here. Good to see you. We got I guess we got some stuff to talk about, or the stuff that I wanted to talk about, and you decide to listen. That's beautiful. But okay, first things first, I will tell you that my grandmother had successful surgery. She had a kidney removed. Luckily, she has two of them, and she did well. So she's good. She's home. She's resting. She's sick, or not sick. She's just tired. She's worn out. But yes, she is doing good. Where is it? Somebody said Ireland. Where we got? Somebody from Ireland. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Yes, so she's doing great. She's doing fantastic. She's a pain in the booty because well, that's just how she is. And that's how you know that she's feeling good, is when she starts, can you believe that? They will put an 80-year-old lady on an operating table and take out her kidney these days. You imagine 30 years ago them trying to do anything like that whatsoever? I mean, it's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of. I remember just thinking when they said, well, she needs her kidney removed. I said, are you high? I said, to the doctor. He wasn't offended, but Lordy, it just seems like a lot. Hey, you're going to have a kidney out. Do you have any idea how old she is? That's what I said to him. Yeah, she's very healthy. You know, she had to go through a lot of some rigmarole, you know what I mean, to get there, and she did very well. And I want to thank you guys for your continued prayers and good thoughts. So she's good to go, and you know, it's going to take her a little bit to really, you know, get back on her feet, but she will do it slowly, and she'll do it surely. Don't call me Shirley. All right. So I've been absent a bit. We did, by the way, if you haven't checked out the newest podcast, The Witness Box, hosted by me, Chris McDonough, and Dr. Gary Bricado, it's out now on all platforms. So make sure to check it out. New episode drops tomorrow. We're talking, it'll be, I believe, sometime in the afternoon. So we'll have a new podcast tomorrow. So make sure, if you're into that, check it out. We're having a good time with it, and I'm enjoying myself very much, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm having a great time with them. Like I said, I'm learning. I'm humbled by the knowledge and the guests and by the people. It's fantastic. It's a dream come true to be able to work with people like Chris McDonough and Dr. Gary, and then, just Catherine Ramsland, and it's just John Lamb. Awesome stuff. These guys are awesome people. So, and make sure to rate that for us when you listen on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Go ahead and rate it. That helps us, get up the charts. And I think that it is running up the charts, to be honest with you. I really think that it's going to be a good sized podcast, and it's, pretty good stuff, I think, personally. All right, let's talk the Sebastian Rogers case. I know that all hell has broken loose again for probably the 6th or 7th, 100th time. And it just seems to get worse and worse. And without answers, becomes speculation and conjecture. And then without anything, you get more than that. You get more than speculation and conjecture. You get wild speculation, wild conjecture, infighting, drama, reality TV, whatever it is that you want to call it. And it's sad that this is going on. And I heard a little bit, I heard some of Web Sleuth's interview with that Crowded panel. And by the way, Crowded panels don't work. I'm not criticizing her show. I'm just saying that, like, especially if you're going to have a conversation like that, less is more. Everything kind of gets lost. People want to get in, get their point in when they can. People cut people off. It's a very tough medium to kind of control. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot. I wonder though, what law enforcement is doing, meaning not the investigation itself, but they have done nothing to dampen suspicions of anybody. Maybe they can't, maybe that's not their job. I just feel kind of the same way that they've done the Summer Wells case, that they leave this vacuum and it gets filled up by all of us. We all fill it up with whatever it is that we want to do. And with lack of information comes speculation. With lack of information comes fighting. I'm sure that they're watching everything going on. They're probably hoping something busts loose. My personal opinion is they have nothing. The reason that is because if they did, I believe that they would have announced that this is either a criminal investigation or this is just a regular investigation. It's been leaked, possibly that this is a criminal investigation, but they walked that back. The way that law enforcement is handling this case seems to be kind of keeping everybody in the dark. And I don't know why. I mean, I guess I do, because I guess they don't have any suspects in mind per se. But I got to tell you that Mr. Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, does not do himself or his wife, Katie, any favors by going on YouTube and acting the way that he acts. Some would say that's justified. Some would say it's downright rude. I would say that what I heard was a temper. And what I heard is a very, I wouldn't say out of control, but it was very, very, how would I put this? I don't want to say that it's, sometimes when you back somebody into a corner, and I don't know if Chris, it doesn't feel like Chris is backed into a corner. Here's the reason I say that is because he seems very confident about something. And I don't know what it is that he's confident about, but he seems very confident about it. whatever that is. Katie, not so much. Now, here's the difference: that Katie cannot separate herself from the scene. Katie can't separate herself from the house. Katie can't separate herself from Sebastian. My big question, and I've always wondered this, and I even wonder it in the Summer Wells case, and I could be completely off here, but what if Katie just isn't telling Chris the truth? What if he's defending her blindly, which he might do? Husbands will do that. But she cannot separate herself. Seth can. Chris can. He says he can. He says he has an alibi, or he says that he was at work. It's people say that it's been confirmed. I don't know if it's been confirmed that or not. I have no idea if that's confirmed, but he says it is, and it would seem that it would be easy to verify that. You would think that if law enforcement could take people off the table, they would do it. You know, that's what Chris was talking about, leaving Katie. So why is he the spokesman? I don't know. He's been married a lot. So I'm guessing that he probably thinks about leaving a lot of people. I mean, I don't know. The problem is that Katie cannot separate herself from Sebastian going missing. And I'm going to play a little bit of, I can't listen to the whole thing, but I do hear that there's a possible, and I don't know if anybody knows and can tell me if that's been or if it's been debunked yet, or if it's still going on. But this photo I'll bring up right here of what some believe, or this person believe, that looked like Sebastian. And I'm not saying that it does or it doesn't. I mean, there are some resemblance and some similarities, and I know what happens when this kind of stuff happens is people are like, I'm gonna take the backlight out and I'm gonna shadow it, and why is his hair so dark, and his arms are a little lower than they should be, and everybody becomes a photo expert. And I'm hearing things like, first of all, this could be an old photo. I mean, it could be him, and it could be an old photo. I don't know what this is. The people are looking at the backdrop, and they're saying, well, there's no leaves, so it's this or it's that. Look, we don't know. I don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows. And it's kind of I wouldn't say it's a moot point, but think about this. If this photo was just taken the other day, and I read about it, and it was saying they were in a rush somewhere, but later on, I'm telling you, if I would have seen that, whoever that is in the photo, if I would have seen that person, knowing that Sebastian Rogers is missing, if I would have seen that boy or whoever that is, I don't know who it is, but if I would have seen that, that would have been an immediate call to TBI. There should have been it shouldn't have been a picture and we'll report it later. That's my problem that I have with it. I have a major problem with them flashing the photo instead of just saying, hey, I need you guys to look, if they don't come out, that's on them. That's them. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they would have, if they did, but that should have been called in immediately, because I'll tell you, if that photo's real, and say it's not him, that is a credible photo. That is a credible sighting. It has characteristics of him. It has his similar build. It has his glasses. The hair color, I don't know. But it should have been done right away. Now, she turned it over to TBI. Be frank, she turned it over to TBI from what I heard a little bit later. Just a little bit later. Not a lot later. Just some later. 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 Come on. You know. Yeah, the hair color thing doesn't bother me at all because just even depending on the time of year, your hair gets lighter or darker. It really does, especially if you have lighter hair in the summertime. It becomes much lighter, and then blah blah blah, whatever. So I'm not concerned about that, but I am concerned that this photo wasn't turned over to TBI or it wasn't called in right away. I find that odd. I find that suspicious. I find it I don't know. It would lead me to speculate that it's either probably not him or it is him on an altered photo. I heard somebody say that this could be an AI generated photo. That's nuts. If that is actually the case, if that is an altered photo, an actual altered photo, and somebody put that out there just for shiz and giggles, well, I don't know how much more despicable you can be. I mean, honestly, if it is shown that this is a fake photo, I won't be shocked, but it'll be another head scratcher. Like, why would somebody do this? Why would somebody even, if they thought they saw Sebastian, they should have called 911 or TBI right then. And then I hear again that they say, well, cell phone reception is bad. Okay, even if that's true, if you think that you have spotted a child that's been missing for 2 months and it is the subject of a nationwide Amber Alert, they dug through, like, let's go back to the beginning. They looked for Sebastian in a landfill, not by accident, folks. Not by accident. You think that it was just happenstance? Just that they just set up a tent and said, we probably should, and then it comes out. They say that they did it out of abundance of caution, and then comes out that, well, it wasn't really out of an abundance of caution. It was from a tip. Of course, it was from a tip. Of course. And it was a good enough tip for them to set up shop and take a look. And they did. They found nothing. But I can't get past the landfill. He is too confident for some reason. Yep. Well, that's the hope, Elizabeth. That is the hope, that there is a case being built quietly. However, I don't have a lot of faith in that, because I used to, with the Summer Wells case, I used to think that as well, that they're building. I think that they're waiting for tips. And I think that that's what they're doing in Summer Wells' case as well. We hear these, there's a grand jury here and a grand jury there, and here, grand jury everywhere, grand jury, and there's no grand jury. And we're 3 years down the road. And, well, as of now, they certainly are. But I'm telling you, I don't know. This is a great Josh. If you could ask Katie a question, what would you ask her? That's a really good question. I think that I would probably ask her why, if there was such a thud, that she didn't get up and physically go check in his room. Like what would be the reasoning for that? Is there a good reason for that? And I don't I've never came up with one. Um, I believe it was taken in North Carolina. North Carolina. And so, I don't know. Candalee says, no matter what, I believe all four parents need counseling. Well, that's the problem too. So when this kind of stuff happens, you really find out how dysfunctional families are. It's not just their family. It's just that they have a missing child in their family. So all the skeletons come out of the closet and they're dancing around and they're celebrated and they're examined, and it happens in every single case. And I know people clamor for it. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It ain't stopping. All right. And I even went with an ain't, knowing full well that it's not proper, but it ain't gonna happen. You can bitch and cry about it all you want. This is what happens. Your life gets put under a microscope. It happened before social media. It will happen if social media, when the printing press was invented, gossip columns started immediately. They would write gossip columns because it sold newspapers. So as long as things can be written down and read by the public, that's not going to change. You want help from the public? They're gonna dig right into your life. The very first thing that Fox News did when they reported on Dawn and Candace was their criminal history. And a bunch of people got their panties in a bunch. And you're going, that's just how it works. What do you want to do about it? All right. Now everything gets put out into the atmosphere. You don't like it, don't listen. You think it's wrong? Okay. You're not going to change it. It's just the way that it always has been. I would blame the handling of at least the public, like the public liaison or whoever it is that's kind of in charge of relaying things to the public. I mean, they've left things very vague. They will always leave things very vague. In this case, I don't know why. Probably because they have nothing. Probably because he has nothing, or probably because we have nothing. Um, yeah, Courtney says it looks like AI to me. I don't even know what AI. I don't even know how you would generate an AI photo like that. It's completely possible. The things that people are doing with them. I mean, they can take your voice now, and I mean, this kind of stuff's been going on for a little bit, but yeah, there's a lot of things that it can be done. Um, Amy Lynn says, I heard it's a real picture, but an old picture. That's my suspicion. I think that the picture's probably real, but I bet you, my guess is that it's probably going to either be a hoax, because a lot of these things happen. These hoaxes happen. How sick is that, by the way? Like, so you want to talk about speculating on the internet and then making stuff up? Wow. What could be worse than that? I mean, that's bad. But I think it's an old photo. I said that, I think, at the beginning. I looked at this, and it's just weird that that people would do this. But yeah, it could just be an old photo floating around. Once that stuff hits Reddit and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and TikTok and all that, everybody says YouTube's toxic. YouTube's toxic, and I wouldn't even disagree with you there. I mean, I guess it's what you make it, but if you think about all the other platforms, they're the same way. They're the exact same way. Date modified per family. That wouldn't surprise me in the least. That was my initial thought, because I think that if law enforcement saw this as a credible, I mean, they would have swarmed. The tree thing, like I said, I don't really buy it, but never believe anyone who says there can't be change. I don't know what that means. Chris didn't say it was an old photo. He said it wasn't Sebastian. Yeah. I don't know. They have a camera there too. Check for that on the weekend. Okay, so I'm going to play a little bit of this. I will ask if you guys could refrain from being too mean to the people that are talking. I'm not going to play it all because I don't want to. Because I don't want to listen to it all, but it was interesting. And it's just going to be audio only.
And they were totally calm, talking, and they were normal. But everybody dissected every single word that they said, and everybody came up with a negative meaning for every single
word. Let me tell you what happened. I can explain. Okay. Let me tell you. Chris, when you went on and talked about hitting Sebastian with a belt.
So this is Web Sleuth. This is Trish. I don't know who the other guy is, and I don't know who anybody else is on there.
Clear that real quick.
Okay.
That needs to be cleared up.
Your door and apologize to you. That got people upset. It got people.
Let's clear that real quick.
Okay.
That needs to be cleared up, because what was said and what people heard are two totally.
So this is the exact tone that he took with me when I would say confronted him on Smiley's channel, but this was the tone when I did. And when you challenge somebody, typically their haunches go straight up. Brian said he thinks Chris behaves completely normal for situation. Well, my God.
Different thing.
I heard you say you hit him with a belt.
Okay, so let me finish, because that's the problem. When I go to make the statement, people want to interrupt and try to say, well, this and that. No.
Now that what he's doing there is as a filibuster. He's revving his engine. All right. So the problem is you won't let me finish. And if you'd let me finish, I could get my point across, all while his brain is still kind of going, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? And then, but the whole thing is it's this filibuster situation where he's basically just saying, look, if you keep interrupting me, we're never going to get anywhere. That's the problem with this case. That's the problem with you people, is that, what do you mean, you people? That's the problem with you guys. You people don't let me say what I need to say.
You wanted the answer. I'm giving you the answer.
He said the exact same thing.
When I answered that question, I told people Sebastian got a spanking. He got one lick on his butt outside of his clothes. If somebody can tell me how that's abuse to a child, explain to me.
Can you confirm when that happened?
I don't. That was years ago.
I got spanked by a belt and wooden spoon by my mom for years.
So, but let's not sidetrack. Not sidetrack. Let's stay on board. Okay. So the question about the CPS thing that came up to play, that everybody wants
Yeah, slavery used to be legal too, Gray, just so you know. That's the thing called antiquated styles of living. My mom tried to burn me with a blowtorch.
Tied to this belt is not what it was.
Okay.
Well, I think it was confusing because when you initially talked about it, you referred to him as an embarrassed 15-year-old. So
Yes, you did.
like it was years ago.
We thought it was like right recently.
Well, instead of
So let's
asking
clear it
more
up.
clarification,
Let's clear it
that
up.
should have been. So, as it stands, Sebastian went to school one day. He made a statement to a teacher. The teacher reports it to CPS. CPS comes to the house. That case has nothing to do with Sebastian getting spanked. That had everything to do with Sebastian didn't like being in trouble.
See, this is what I don't understand. And I'm so confused about the CPS cases, when they responded, when they didn't respond. And I don't have the energy to dig through it and try and figure it out, because to me, it seems like this is purposely uh, being told this way. So where you don't know what the hell he's talking about.
So he thought by reporting it to a teacher, they were going to come to the house and they're going to take me out of the house and do this and do that. That is what the CPS case was about. And yes, I laughed at it because when I explained to Sebastian, very detailed, what happened, he thought it was a joke. When the CPS lady shows up and looks at him and says, Sebastian, you can't false report. That will get people in trouble and you can get in trouble.
Okay, but the question is, what did he falsely report? Did he falsely report that you hit him with a belt? Because if you hit him with the belt, I would think that by all means he has the right to object to that. I mean, I don't like getting hit with stuff, regardless of what happened to me when I was a kid, or what happened to you when you were a kid, or how you treat your kids. I don't think that hitting a child, that a special needs child, specifically with sensory issues, with touch, feel, loud, anger, you can't teach that way. You can't teach it that way. He is not a child that you can teach by physical pain. That's what we're talking about here, is that a child has acted so wrong that you're going to hurt them. You're going to trigger the nerves in their body by hitting them with a belt, not your hand, not, whatever. What you're trying to do is you're trying to inflict pain so they remember, like people do dogs, which also isn't proper. You don't hit children, specifically children that cannot understand why they're being hit. And then what happens is you wonder why your child goes to school and hits other kids. Well, that kid made me mad. He lied to me, Dad, Mom, Mr. Chris. He lied to me. So I whooped him. I whooped his butt. But Sebastian, you can't do that. Why? That's what you did to me. That's what you do to me. Learn behavior. Keep your hands to yourself. There are ways to go about it. There are resources. You can get help from counselors. They will help you. There are a lot of resources. A lot of resources to help you understand how to deal with children that are in special needs. what if your child was going to grab the stove burner? So, Noel, and I'm just asking this, but are we equating them making a mistake? Like, I'm not going to let my kid just grab it either. Hey, don't do that. It'll hurt. Now, you know, if you do it, I can't be here all the time. It's a different situation to me.
Explain to him what happens.
What did he say you did to him?
Can I ask you, what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China when
Well,
it comes to the disappearance of Sebastian?
Because I'll tell you why. Because you're wondering why people are coming at you. And
Yes,
it's
because
he was in your home last. That was the last place he was seen.
yes,
So
he was.
when we hear these things, it's like, okay, let's just
Yeah, he may have been just diagnosed, but you can't tell me. I mean, you can't tell me that he hadn't been diagnosed with other things. I mean, the autism diagnosis may have came later in life, but I mean, it was pretty obvious that. Yeah, I've never heard the price of eggs in China. I've heard the price of tea in China, but I've never heard the price of eggs in China.
clear it up.
And I'm not even curious what they are. I'm curious about what they are when I gotta buy them.
And
$3.99 for 18.
what happened? Because I'll tell you why. Because people, I'm not saying me, but I've seen people say, hey, he was hitting his child. He reported it to his teacher. Did something happen? Was there an explosive incident that happened?
No, absolutely nothing of that nature.
Okay.
And
Michelle L says, I agree, Josh. I still think KP had Sebastian staying with. I still think Katie Proudfoot has Sebastian staying with somebody. I think she acted on her own, and Chris is defending her. That I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I mean, it's completely possible that Chris is not privy to everything that's going on per Katie, per law enforcement, and that, he's blindly defending his wife. That could be one possibility, or they're in cahoots and he doesn't want to go down, or they flat out know nothing. I mean, there's just a few options there.
for people to not understand,
But it is hard to kind of justify this sort of, I want to say, anger.
when you discipline a child, there's a difference in discipline and abuse. There truly is a difference.
But I think hitting anybody with a belt is abuse. I'm sorry, I do. And a lot of people.
Trish and I haven't always seen eye to eye on things, but I agree with her here, very much so. And by the way, she's doing a fine job.
Agree with me, and that's the problem.
And
So we
guess
have a
what?
difference
That's
of
the
opinion.
great thing. That's the great thing about having your opinion.
Yeah.
That's an opinion. That's not a fact. That's opinion.
Okay. I think a belt is abuse, but that's again,
Well,
I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's more of a fact than an opinion. It's more of a fopinion, I guess. But I think that the majority of people are going to go and I don't think so, brother. I don't know.
if I was leaving bruises and marks on a child, that's abuse. That would be considered abuse.
What do you think a belt's going to do, though? Like, isn't that the point?
okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
So by definition,
that's weird.
that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand.
That's weird.
You
When
can
did
say
Norm Macdonald join the panel?
your opinion, and that is fine. But you have to back it up and say, what I'm stating is just an opinion. There's no fact to it. When you don't say that, you leave it open to interpretation for a lot of people to take it and run with it.
I don't think there's a lot of ambiguity here, Mr. Proudfoot. I really don't, because I think that most people would agree that hitting a child with a belt is not something that we modernly do. We also don't hang people for stealing horses anymore. They used to do it all the time. A horse thief was sentenced to death. We don't do things change, things evolve. Segregation's over as well. Okay. You get what I'm saying? Like, these things don't, just because it used to happen doesn't mean it was okay when it happened. You understand me? Oh, the horse thief needs to be hung because he stole a horse. Well, we might want to repeal that. We might want to just check that out just a little bit. Now, you can't even get somebody on death row.
That was a lot of the problems with this.
And there will be people, I can get people from CPS that will say hitting a child with a belt is an abuse. But here's the thing, you're right. That doesn't have anything to do necessarily with Sebastian and his disappearance. But what
There are people out there that got whipped with wires. You know, kids. Go get a tree branch. Go get a stick. Go get a stick off a tree. Well, just because that happened to you doesn't make it okay. It may have been okay when you were a child, meaning it wasn't against the quote unquote law. But can you imagine? Can you imagine a very famous football player, Adrian Peterson, used to whip his kids with a switch from a tree? It doesn't mean that it's okay. And I don't think that that's an opinion. I think that that's pretty universally sound. You don't hit children with objects. You don't hit children in general.
does is it creates a
And trust
narrative.
me, I'm not one of those, you know, oh yeah, yeah. I'm not like that. You know, if a kid needs some discipline, he needs some discipline, but I don't believe that hitting is the proper avenue. There are a lot of ways to punish a child that don't involve physical harm.
In people's minds that we need to clear up and change, Chris. We need to clear it up and change it. Okay, so let's do that.
So we just did.
Okay. If now you did go on Nancy Grace and say that CPS has never been called.
And please hit that like button if you have not. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you.
And
No, that's not. No. Nope.
Okay, that's what I heard. What did you say?
She asked the question about a situation, and she asked me if I had ever had CPS called on me. I believe is what the question was. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't exactly know what the question was without hearing it again. So I'm
Okay.
not going to answer you with something without having it in front of you.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair. Very fair. And so let's move on. Okay, so nothing came of that from you hitting him with a belt. Has there ever been any, and people are going to ask, has there ever been any violence in your home as far as Sebastian is concerned?
No.
Okay.
BS gifting 5 lab memberships. Thank you so much, BS. I really do appreciate that. It's very, very kind of you. Thank you. Josh, would Dr. Gary Bricado be one to offer insight as a guest into this case? I have talked to him about this, and I'll ask him. I think he said that he would do it. Yeah, I think that he could give good insight for sure.
Okay. Now Gray asked, why is Seth being treated so different? Because
is that a real question? I'll answer that right now. Let me tell you. I'll tell you why. Regardless, because from the jump, it sounds like that Sebastian's father was searching for him. Now, I understand that the longer these things go on and more things that happen, people become more suspicious of people and say, you know, oh, well, they showed their true colors and this and that. But I mean, you got to go back to the inception. You got to go back to the genesis of this whole thing. You got to start from square one. Okay. He seemed to be more motivated to look for Sebastian. Now, I don't think that that's up for debate. I'm sure there are some people that say, well, you know, it was this or is that. Okay, fine, whatever. But it does seem that he was a bit more motivated to find his child. That's it. I don't think that is that a hard question? I don't think it is, folks.
Because of how Chris came on and became so angry and did what you did tonight, Chris. You've done this before. And I think that's why. And Seth didn't. And I think that's the difference.
Right, because I don't feed out of people's hands. I don't feed into what people think. I don't, and then once again,
All right. So this rebel without a cause situation, I get it. You know, he's very, you know, he told me, he's like, call a spade a spade. Trevor Lee, by the way, in the house, gifting 5 lab memberships. Trevor Lee, what's up, dude? How are you, brother? Trevor Lee, the man. I know. I don't even want to talk about. I'll talk about it later. Love you, buddy. You're a great guy.
difference.
But how about
I
just
will-
saying thank you to the people that want to help you?
Okay, well, that's simple. There's a difference in me saying thank you to everyone, which if you go back and listen to every single
By the way, I'll just say this. This has nothing to do with finding Sebastian.
I have done, I have told everybody, thank you, thank you, thank you for everything that you have done. There's not enough thank you in this world. We can't begin to describe how much.
Here's a good question. But you don't think he had a right to be upset and finally losing it? No, I do. I think he has a right to be upset. I think everybody has a right to be upset. You can get upset about anything you want. It's not up to me to decide whether it was right or wrong. I mean, he can be upset. He's obviously upset. I'm never one for when people get upset when they start cussing people out and yelling and things like that. People can feel how he wants. He obviously feels a certain way about it, and that's fine. He's allowed to. He's allowed to feel that way.
Appreciate it. I have said this.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to one video and show me where I haven't. I've also said that our family prays for everybody else, and we love you all, regardless of what you think. But you know what? Once again,
Yeah. I think when his first interview, you got to admit, his first few interviews were really calm. The one on, can't remember the names of their channels, but he was on multiple
bull
channels,
crap.
calmly talking. Both of them
Can't
were.
remember the names of their channels. It was Smiley and Duchess. Come on, man. Give people their flowers, Gray. You know who you're too cool for school, bro. Come on, you know who it was.
And yet the public was already angry with him before he became angry on a show because
they went 9 days. 9 days without speaking publicly about a child that they didn't know whether he was abducted or missing or what. They had no clue. 9 days. That's going to piss some people off. Why would that not piss people off? Of course it's going to piss people off. Holy crap.
Definitely later. You got to admit, like his first 3 or 4, both of them.
And I can tell you why. Because he said he hit Sebastian with a belt. That made people.
That's not why. That came after. That was fodder for the fire. That's not why, though. But yes, Trish is right. The reason that it became the way that it did was because of all these things that kept coming out. Drip, 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 drip.
Which interview was that?
It was the very first one I heard. With
Okay.
I can't remember.
Smiley stories.
Yes,
I can pull up a transcript at some point.
yes, it was on the Smiley story. Yes,
That one.
Okay.
but
Yeah, but
once
I mean,
again,
here's the thing. There is a perception. See, look at
There you
when I
go.
was
That's it.
growing up, I just want to say this. When I was growing up, my mom spanked me with a belt, wooden spoon, everything, and she's the greatest mom I've ever. I mean, like, just awesome. I didn't ever feel like it was abuse. Things
Well,
have changed though over time. Like
As long as you didn't feel like it was abuse, then it wasn't abuse.
nowadays, it's considered abuse, and maybe that sort of is affecting how our society has changed quite a bit. But
thank
it's
you.
like,
Yes,
but the thing is it used to be totally normal, and it is still sort of normal in some families. As long if you're not sitting there just wailing away for hours, like creating the bruises, like Chris was saying. It's just sort of
Wailing for hours. It doesn't take hours. It takes one. It takes one. New lab rat here. I had no idea that was you on the call with Smiley. Unfortunately, it was me. I was the one that started the confrontation. I regret it. But I also didn't feel at the time, and I still feel that he wasn't, he was kind of doing some semantics. He's good at that. He is. He's not bad at it. I understand, the spin. What was that, O'Reilly? The no spin zone? This is the no spin zone, bro.
I mean, I think it's sort of normal for a lot of people in society. It might not be for some people, but I think, I don't know. I think if you took a poll and people were off, not in this particular chat right here, it wouldn't be as high as you might think. It's not going to be 99% of the people. It'd be like 50-50 on whether or not.
No, it would. I think it would be more like, 95, and the 5 are the ones that beat their kids, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little bit anecdotal. But
once again,
could we talk about the thud that Katie heard?
Yes, that's a good one. Let's talk about the thud. And I apologize. I had your name spelled wrong. Everybody that knows me, Chris, knows I'm the worst speller in the world. And I thought I put Proudfoot, and I didn't.
About spelling.
So I apologize.
Speller either.
So I do apologize for that, sir.
I put Proud Food one time when I wrote it.
Yeah.
So
I've been called Bradford, Proud Food, Brownfoot, all kinds of stuff.
So sorry.
I thought I put Proudfoot. Let's talk about the thud. I want to know about that. Chris, please tell us.
He wasn't there.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Well, tell us the whole story. What did Katie tell you about the thud? What is the story behind that?
If Katie's there, maybe she could tell us.
Does she want to come on?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
Okay, that's absolutely fine.
Because it's like this. People, it's enough as it is. I'm not putting her through this. And I'm sure that right there is going to cause a big stir and say, well, I'm controlling. No, I'm not controlling. I'm a husband who protects his wife.
Well, you will only get polite questions here.
Let's go back to the Sebastian deal.
Okay.
Okay. Katie reported she heard a thud. And that's it.
But didn't she
knock
ask?
her off and go to bed?
I've seen different reports of she heard a thud. She said, I don't know what you're doing in there, but you need to go to bed. I've seen other reports that Sebastian responded back to her. If he did respond back to her, do you know what he said?
Yeah, he replied, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean,
we're clearing things up.
Right.
That's all this is. Let's just clear it up,
There was a noise. Katie heard it. She responded. Sebastian answered.
Okay. And see, people out there, they want to help. And it feels like that you just are like, that pissed you off that we even asked that.
What pisses me off is when the statement is out there. There was a thud. She asked him what, he responded back and moving on.
And around what time was that?
I'm not going to give you details as far as.
Katie gave details, but
well, guess what? That is Katie. I'm not giving you those kind of details.
No, she gave details publicly.
Come on, dude. Come on. That's just not helping.
That is fine.
Okay.
Katie can give you that. I am not giving you that information.
Because my name.
I will tell you this. It was between the time we were on the phone to the time we got off the phone. That's what I'll give you.
When does
Has Sebastian ever left the house barefoot that you know of?
Has Sebastian gone outside of the house barefooted? Yes. Before, as he ran off? No.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's how you were asking it, but
no, I'm glad
it's not.
That's perfect. No, that's great.
That's not.
And again, I swear to you, Chris, we're not
that wasn't the question.
trying to be hostile. In fact, I've spoken on this live channel before and said,
when does Seth
if Chris
show
ever
up?
came here, we would treat him with.
There's no street lights in the subdivision whatsoever. If you go online, Google it, whatever, you'll see that there's absolutely no street lights in the subdivision. None.
Right.
If
I'm gonna
Is
fast.
there a possibility that some cameras may not pick up somebody walking in front of them because how dark it is? Yes.
That would be the only thing that would make sense, really.
Right. So,
Yeah, well, he even told me. I remember when he told me that, like, even some detectives didn't show up on the cameras.
correct.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, it's
there you go.
yeah.
That makes perfect sense now. Because that's driving everybody crazy. But if it's so dark,
And I know, and it's hard for trust me, for everyone out there that, cameras will pick up and all this. No, I promise you, not all cameras have the best quality as, I mean, the stuff that you see on TV and, you see a demo of a camera in a store. It's different when you're on a house and different elements. So,
okay, so it was so dark that it is logical to conclude that the cameras that Sebastian would have walked by, did not pick him up. And that's something that is logical that people can accept. Absolutely. I think this is a good question. Did Sebastian ever have nightmares? Could he have had one that's
When does
like I say, ever seen anything like that that I'm aware of?
when does he show up?
That's, I mean, as far
Stacy, I believe Seth is here.
Oh, here we go.
Seth, I am so glad that you are here, my dear. Thank you very much. Seth, what would you like to say now?
I got a few questions to ask Chris.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, he can hear you.
Hey, Chris. So why did you texted me the other day about something I'd already sent Katie an email?
say it one more time. All I heard was something about an email sent.
Why did you text me about an email I sent on Monday to Katie?
Because I didn't see the information in what you're referring to as Tony Mathis's phone number. I didn't see it. So that's why I asked for it.
I mean, come on, Chris. If we're going to work together, more than a week communication between the people that I'm sending stuff to you and Katie.
Okay, so hear me out. I told you.
Okay, okay.
I told
Let's
you,
not come
Seth,
into
that we will work
okay?
together.
All right.
I explained to you that I'm willing to work with you. You asked me some questions in regard to this dog handler. You asked me questions in regards to going on a social media platform. You've asked me questions about hiring a PR person that will speak for all of us and keep everybody off of these platforms. It's what you asked. Now, if you think I'm not going to do my homework and dig into people and find out who they are first, you're crazy. Because I would expect you to do the exact same thing if I gave you a name.
Who's typing?
I don't know what's going on, but did that solve it? I hope.
Oh, is
Seth?
Seth gone? It looks like he's
Uh-oh. I think so. Wait, is this Seth? Did Seth jump off? Let's see. We got me, Stacy.
Yeah. How about I'll get off the panel. I'm sure it'll make a lot of people in the chat happy. But I just
Oh, stop it. I don't know what's going on, but did that solve it? I hope.
is
Seth?
Seth gone? It looks like he's
Uh-oh. I think so. Wait, is this Seth? Did Seth jump off? Let's see. We've got me, Stacy.
Yeah. How about I'll get off the panel. I'm sure it'll make a lot of people in the chat happy. But I just wanted
stop it.
I just wanted to say that I understand what I've seen. What I've seen from the beginning is that there was sides chosen. I know you're saying because of this and because of that, but it was Seth good, Proudfoot's bad, and everybody has been in those camps, and they never really got a chance to breathe. And that's probably why Katie went to be with him, because she probably was scared to stay at home by herself, giving these lunatics like JLR, etc., running around chanting and screaming.
I agree. It's horrible.
I think. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
it should not be that way.
That's just kind of where I'm coming from. I appreciate communicating with him. We've had nothing but good conversations, and that's it. I mean, that's all I can do.
It's called engagement farming.
I've never seen anything that made me go, God, ooh, that's, it's weird. I mean, I don't know. I watched the same things you guys have.
Your mother also used to beat the shit out of you, and you thought that was okay.
But anyways, see you later, guys. Out there.
Okay. See ya.
Take care, Greg.
Bye, Gray.
Does anybody know where Seth went?
I'm working on it.
Okay, thanks.
I do know. I think up in his area, he doesn't have like the greatest signal because a lot of times when we talk, his
You know what?
phone, he will drop.
Do you want to ask him if he wants to call me rather than go on the internet? Just call me on the phone, and I can put him on and be a really, really strong signal. I mean, it'll sound really good.
Well, I think it's just like his cell signal up there is not the greatest.
Oh, it's a cell. Okay.
Yeah.
But if he wants to,
I mean, if he's on his cell phone, let me.
Heather, if you want to give him my number, and Chloe has it, hit out.
Right next door.
Yeah. So they did saying they did hit, and they all went to that pond.
No, I
No?
didn't say all that. I just told you. I've had 13 to 18 dogs in my house and around my house.
Mhm.
I told you 3 different dogs on the same path that go to that retention pond.
Right.
I'm
That's
not going
my-
to say that every other dog.
Not every dog, but some dogs hit. Okay.
Right. So, but I want this to be crystal clear.
Okay.
So when people say every dog, that is not the case. 3 dogs went on the same path.
Okay.
That is all that we have on that. The rest of these dogs go in different directions, but it's all unreliable.
Understood. We do have a question from Michelle. Chris, was Ellie able to go in and search the cave they said had collapsed about 10 feet in? I haven't heard this.
Okay, so Ken Widener is the EMA director for Sumner County. They called in all kinds of stuff, got layouts of where these caves were. I don't believe, and I'm not telling you by the gospel,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they were able to get into certain caves because they were not safe to enter.
Okay.
The one that she is referring to that collapsed, honestly, we know that the one collapsed, but we don't believe they had anything to it.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Let's see here. Let me get my notes. I was taking notes while we were talking.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Let me read this.
Mm-mm.
Hold on. Trevor Lee just sent this to me. This is a comment that was left. It's called by the K9 handler. So it's the K9 captain. I'm the K9 handler he keeps referring to in the call with Seth, who is trying to go and search the property, the Proudfoot house. He hasn't even reached out to me to speak with me yet. I sent him all my credentials and certifications on Monday, yet he rants about don't wait 2 weeks to call law enforcement. Wow. Also, he said detection canines are only 25% accurate. I've been a canine handler for 15 years, military and private security. That's absolutely false, unless it's a puppy with almost no training. That made me infuriated. There is no way a canine would pass its national certification if it was only scored at 25%. So do with that what you want.
So people have been asking, and I don't mean to sound insulting, but people are asking, are you searching? Are you putting up flyers? That's what they're
Yes,
asking.
we are.
Okay.
Yes, and here's why they're asking that question. No, you're not going to find pictures of us out there doing this because
Mhm.
it's real simple. We, all 3 parents, initially were told in the beginning not to go out and search, that we needed to be available to talk to law enforcement.
Right.
Yeah.
Seth has been out there searching and doing his thing. He's had a bunch of people following him. Whether or not he chose that or these people decided to do it on their own accord, that's not for me to say. But we, Katie and I, are
Once again, I don't want to belabor this point, but I don't care if they say don't go searching. My kid's missing. I'm going to search. I really don't care.
not
I don't
But-
even think that's a question.
have some big, massive search party following us around with a bunch of people that are already threatened death threats, by the way, to us. You know, I'm not doing that. If you were in my shoes, you'd do the same thing. You listen to law enforcement. You do what they tell you to do. Yes, we're out there putting up signs. Yes, we're out there putting up flyers. Yes, we are searching.
Nah, BS, you're right.
Chris, I'm sorry. Did you just say you guys are getting death threats?
Yes, we've been getting death threats. And they have been reported to the TBI. Everything gets forwarded, screenshot, and sent straight to them.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, everyone. I have Seth on my phone, on my JBL speaker. Seth, I want to give you a chance to talk uninterrupted. So please go ahead.
All right. Mainly, Chris, communication needs to be a little bit more prompt. If I send you an email on Monday and Tuesday, I'm not willing to wait a week to get a response back. I mean, that's unacceptable when we're trying to find Sebastian, buddy.
I understand what you're saying. I respect that. But when it comes to you asking people to come into my house on my property, who I don't know Adam from Eve, and I really don't care what certification, who can vouch for these people, I don't care. I'm going to do exactly what I have always been doing. You send that to me,
Okay,
we're
well,
going to review it, and then we're going to send it to
I'm
law
going to interrupt you,
enforcement.
Chris.
Let
Okay.
law enforcement go that route,
The
and then when law
spokesperson
enforcement comes,
speak for us, doesn't
Hold on.
need to be on your property.
Hold
see,
on,
this
Chris.
is
Chris, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Seth, what did you say?
I said the person to be our spokesman to speak for all three of us doesn't need to be on your property.
Okay,
But
Chris.
yeah,
You're
you
correct.
haven't
You
spoken
are very correct.
to him.
I have spoken.
So what he's saying is, so he has a dog handler that is willing to go onto the property. Chris says, I don't want that person on property. You know, look, that's up to him to feel how he wants. But then Seth says just flat out, he says, but a spokesman doesn't need to be on your property. You're not only are you not responding to the dog situation, which I can understand a little bit more, but he's talking about just in general, the things that they have agreed to. So
When?
And I'm going to make this public. I am back working, and I have work hours. I also have to sleep. And unfortunately, I'm on the opposite schedule of you. So respect that. I will do what I
When did you
can,
speak
as
with
I
him,
can,
Chris?
when I can.
I'm sorry, Seth, go ahead.
When did you speak with him, Chris?
What does that got to do with finding Sebastian?
So what I take from that when he says, I'll do what I can, when I have the time, you know, I believe that, I don't know. He doesn't, I don't think he wants anything to do with what Seth is doing. And if that's the case, then he should just say so. I mean, he doesn't want to make himself look bad by saying, he's like, I want to vet them first and so on and so forth. But, you know, I mean, I think that this stuff's probably top priority. If he doesn't want to get in line with it, then just say so.
If he's going to be our spokesperson, I was just asking when you spoke with him.
I haven't come up with an answer yet. We've spoke with him. We told him we'll get back with him after we've done some consideration and talk with law enforcement. We'll get back to him and we'll let him know our decision.
So,
I know you're on board with that. I do. I mean, I know you're 1,000% on board with Mr. Mathis. I got that. I'm not taking that away from you.
So Chris, I understand like every marriage is different and husband-wife aspect. You seem very protective of Katie and her having conversations with or without you. But like I said before you came on, I do believe that Katie is the one who, and I'm not saying it's because she knows what happened to Sebastian, but she was the last person that was with him. And so she does hold the most information, at least up until the point that he went missing.
What information do you think she holds?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Well, then do me a favor. Let's just get to it.
Okay.
Don't pour gravy on the mashed potatoes. Just serve the stuff up.
Chris, I'm really trying to be respectful, and this is a very
I am too. So please just get to it.
okay.
No,
So
you're
we
up
would
there.
really love to hear
Look,
from
bro,
Katie
I'll tell
about
you, mashed potatoes without gravy, it's just not as good.
his body language that day. We've heard from others who are not necessarily good sources about his body language at the bowling alley and his body language here and there. And so we're just really trying to pick up on Sebastian's mood because it could help us understand what led to him walking away off the front porch.
Look, don't piss in the wind and then tell me it's raining, okay?
Front door.
Well, that is something that if she decides to answer, that's on her. But what I know is even on video, Sebastian was having a great day. He was in a great mood. He got to go to BJ's. He had a colossal popcorn. He hung out with family. He went and played video games at Strike and Spare.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this isn't a Make-A-Wish commercial. We don't need to know how great his day was because it's really immaterial to the story. How great his day was. I mean, I don't think he's wherever he is, however he is. I don't think his day is great now. What about now? Let's talk about now.
After that, he went and had dinner at Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse. He ate his whole meal. I mean,
Who cares?
everything in the video, even the videos that Seth has seen, he doesn't show any negative signs of he's upset or anything like that. As far as we all know, Sebastian had a great day.
No, I mean, it sounds like a really great day. I mean, they did a lot.
No, it sounds like a normal day. It sounds just like something, a normal Sunday. Fine. I don't know. It's not great. I mean, what was so great about it? That he hung out with his family, he went to dinner, and he went home. And he hasn't been seen since. I wouldn't consider that just like a great day. I mean, it's a day,
I was
uneventful
just curious,
at best.
and like I said, I mean, every relationship is different, and you're protective of Katie and who she communicates without you.
And
I think
Katie,
that
for the record,
has been a little bit.
Dr. Gary would say something along the lines of, this is kind of, painting this peaceful. You remember when Chris Proudfoot said I think it was like his first interview that he did, what he talked about was how they were all in unison and they were, a well-oiled machine and that their communication was great. I mean, maybe that was true at the time. I don't believe it's true now.
But right, hold on a second. But for the record, Katie can speak if she so chooses, and she's done interviews without me.
No, I'm not talking about interviews.
But she spoke without me.
Okay.
I want to clear up something
Correct.
that Chris said about Sebastian going to live with Seth. And Chris, you may ask, what does this have to do with Sebastian missing? It's all part of the narrative. It could mean he ran away. And that is, Chris, did you not say that he was not looking forward to going to live with his father?
Yes, I did state that.
Seth, did you know this?
Nope.
Chris, do you want to elaborate?
And I'll tell you why.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will be glad to elaborate.
Become a question.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on. I'm sorry, Seth. Start over, and then Chris, we'll go to you. Seth, go ahead.
But I know why I was putting him in online school. He needed his therapy to actually have been started with ABA, so on and so forth, before I put him back into the situation, because he's not ready for certain things.
Okay. So he was going to go.
I'm not going to set my son up for failure. I want my son to succeed.
He was going to homeschool until he was ready to go back to regular school. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And it's not really homeschool. I mean, it's just online school.
Okay. Online, right. Online school. That's a better term. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said homeschool. Right. Online school. Totally different.
Really quick, Chris, the day that they had on Sunday with the spaghetti pancakes and bragging to family and BJ's and Texas Roadhouse and bowling and all of these, like, it sounds like the best day ever. Was that like a normal weekend for them, or was it like it just, I don't know, was that like their normal weekend?
Right. Well, do me a favor. Let's pause that question because you just diverted away from what she asked, and let's
If this is how disrespectful and rude he is on a live chat, I would hate to see how he is behind closed doors. Poor Sebastian. I think that's a fair point. I think that I'm telling you that I have not heard all of this. I haven't heard the fight. I've only heard people were sending it to me, and I'd heard bits and pieces. I wanted to kind of react to it in real time because I didn't want to have a preconceived notion of this. And first and foremost, I had been busy with life and hadn't been paying much attention. So here we go.
clear this out.
Okay.
Go
'Cause
ahead.
we
Chris.
want the facts. Let's get the facts straight.
Okay.
So yes, I did tell you Sebastian was not excited about going to his father's house because online school.
Online
Seth
school.
was aware of this because Seth stood in my house with me, Katie, and Sebastian in my kitchen and had this conversation where Seth asked his son about, you don't want to go to online school? And Sebastian's retort was, no, I don't. But
Okay.
I don't really care about playing tit for tat.
No, but
I understand.
Well, but you do. And here's the thing. That's not him not being excited about going to live with his dad. That's not what that is. And so what you did is you stretched that into something as a dig. And I get it that Seth is taking digs at you and you feel that they weren't fair. So you turned this one into a dig. That's what this is. He did not say what you said that he said. You understand?
This may be a reason why he wanted to run away, so to speak, if that's the case.
Right.
But we're not going into this. We're not going to play this tit for tat on social media. We're not doing this.
Okay.
But you are.
Seth, go ahead.
Chris, unbeknownst to you, had already talked to Sebastian. He knew this wouldn't be a permanent thing. And me and him had already spoken.
Well, that right there's
After
a
the
conversation
and
you should have had with
we had
Katie and
already
myself
spoken.
about what your plans were.
I'm sorry. Do you want?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
What Seth was saying is that if I had known the conversation that him and Sebastian had, then I would know the whole thing. But the downside is that's where Seth should have had that same conversation with me and Katie, and that didn't happen. But this goes right back to, here's the thing. If you're saying that because he didn't want to go live with his dad, he potentially ran away, is that a possibility? Sure, we'll put that out there.
Okay.
But quite honestly, what goes on between Seth, me, his mom, and our households is none of the public's business.
Until there's a public Amber Alert for your missing child. Now, I get it. You don't want people getting into your relationship. You don't want people getting into, the clashes of the household, what was said here, what was said there. I got a messed up family too, and that do crazy things and say, just, I get it, but I get it, but I don't get it. I mean, we're so far past that now.
If it had something to do with his disappearance, I would understand that, but it doesn't.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, I understand that. That's why we're making this clear.
And that's
Right.
why I asked about his day, because I
Let's
didn't
go back
know.
to the day. Okay, go
I
ahead,
didn't
Miguel.
know. Okay, so Chris, you don't know me very well. I have 2 decades of experience working with autistic children, in different capacities. So I do understand they are all different. I do understand that day may have been very overstimulating for him. So that's why I was asking if that was a normal day for him. And if it wasn't, that, I mean, that just gives me more information that maybe he was very overstimulated that day.
Chris?
So, all right. So one more time. I'm so sorry.
I was just saying, in my experience with autistic children, obviously they're all different.
What's up,
But
dude?
if this was not a normal day for Sebastian on Sunday when he went and did all of these things, and it sounds like he was gone from home for a while. If this wasn't a normal day for him, would this have been an overstimulating day for him? Is this something normal? Does he normally go to BJ's and bowling and all of these things on a weekend? Or was this kind of like a special thing? And if it was a special thing, what caused it to be special? Was there an occasion?
If it was a special thing, a mother and a son bonding and just having a good time.
I'm not being ugly at all.
I'm not. I'm just. I'm making.
I mean, is this a normal day for them on a weekend? For them to do all
our days.
Bro, it's like a yes or no question. You know, these enough with the preambles. You know, if you're gonna serve mashed potatoes, don't wait for the gravy to be poured on top. Dig right in, bro. No butter.
Monday through Friday, we're a working family, just like everybody else out there. And when the weekend comes, that's when you get a lot of stuff done. You go a lot of places, you do a lot of things. And a lot of times that's where, you know, you go and spend time with your kids and do extra things. Sebastian's not in sports like most kids. So we don't spend ball time at the ballpark. You know, when Seth has Sebastian on the weekends, he goes and does fishing and things like that with Sebastian just as well. I mean, Seth works long hours. I work long hours.
And I'm not saying any of that is suspicious at all, Chris. I'm just asking if that was normal. Because if it wasn't normal and he was overstimulated, that could be a reason for him to have ran out of the house.
No,
okay.
He was not overstimulated.
Okay, so that wasn't one of the possible reasons for him to leave.
Here's what I'll say. Everything is on the table. Nothing.
Yeah, well, okay. And Lil Shawnee became a YouTube member. I appreciate that. Thank you. Tit for Tat Shaq became a YouTube member. Welcome. Thank you for being a lab rat. Gwen, so good to see you, Gwen. Good to see you.
It's been taken off the table, period. That's the same statement law enforcement has made. That's the same statement I'm going to tell you every single day in and day out.
Gave my son to your mother and father. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Say it one more time.
Do you not want to say that? But we can move on. So
No. I want to hear it.
There's a rumor out there, Chris, that your mom and your dad have Sebastian. It's been brought up to me.
Seth, you know darn good and well, you got a question about my
I'm
mother.
just asking.
You pick up the
Are they
phone.
taking somewhere to like a boot camp or anything like that? And Katie just thought I wouldn't accept it.
I don't think Seth is being accusatory. I think he's just trying to clear up a bunch of BS that's been online.
Right. And I'm trying, and I'm telling you, if he's had this suspicion, he's got my mother's phone number. He can pick up the phone and call her. She is not afraid to answer.
Chris, I'm not saying you. I don't want to talk to your mom. I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to Katie.
Well, it's real simple, Seth.
To put it to the rest.
You have seen the video footage of Seth on Sunday. Don't tell me you hadn't. I know you have. You sat in the room with all the agents.
No, they didn't show me the video footage, buddy.
So you didn't see, you weren't sitting in a room with law enforcement, the district attorney, when they showed you a video, when you wanted proof of life, saying that you hadn't seen proof since Friday.
Well, I'm going to rewind here in a second, but the district attorney? Why is there a district attorney there? The district attorney? For what? Why is a DA involved in that? The DA is only there to prosecute. I'm gonna go back a little bit and talk about that as well.
Wait a
With
minute.
law enforcement, the district attorney.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, that would mean that there are elements of crimes here. There are elements of crimes if a DA is involved. Now, maybe he's wrong. I don't know. But he seemed to say it very loudly and
They
proudly.
didn't show me the video footage, buddy.
So you didn't see, you weren't sitting in a room
Wait a minute.
with law enforcement, the district attorney, when they showed you a video, when you wanted proof of life, saying that you hadn't seen proof since Friday. When you've been at my house the first 3 damn days.
Sunday, buddy.
Chris, let Seth speak. Go ahead, Seth.
Chris, they showed me video proof of him coming out of Texas Roadhouse on Sunday.
On a Sunday night. You damn right.
Just Chris.
Seth, I got a problem with you sitting here making these accusations. Because if you got a problem with them, guess what?
Let's squash it.
I think we're just trying to talk things out, and I don't even know if this should be public, honestly.
Same.
Okay, here's all the public knowledge you need on this deal. Law enforcement has talked to my parents, my whole family. Once again, the statement is true, what law enforcement says. Just because you hear a rumor doesn't make it true.
Chris,
I
what
don't
want
think
to
he
do
said it
is
was true. I think he's just trying to clarify.
He said
That's not clarifying. No, stop sitting here trying to defend his actions. Stop.
Okay.
the fact is, Chris, is I'm trying to squash the rumor. We're both here squashing the rumor.
Seth, there is no rumor. You know, my parents were not with Katie.
There definitely is there's definitely a rumor. I mean, it's been talked about. So just, yeah, he's mad that he brought up his family
On Sunday.
That's all I'm doing, Chris.
No, you're causing a problem because you know damn good and well where my parents were at their house on Sunday night. They weren't near Katie. They weren't near Sebastian. And if you got a problem, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call her. Be an adult. Be a responsible adult. And just call her.
the same way that you called him when you found out that Sebastian was missing. You sent him a text, told him don't be upset. It's good for the goose, good for the gander. Mashed potatoes don't go back in the pot. They only go out. Gravy's not needed, brother.
Chris. Can you hear me, Chris?
Oh, I can hear you.
Because all I'm hearing is anger and attitude from you. What I'm trying
And
to
you should,
do
Seth. You
is
should.
unify-
Because what you're doing is bullshit and you know it.
Okay, stop.
Okay,
People
all
are
right,
talking
enough.
over each other.
Enough.
Seth, go, and then Chris, go. Please, Seth, and then Chris. Thank you.
Chris, a unified front squashes rumors together. That's all I am stating.
Okay, Chris.
This is a rumor floating around, and I would like us to squash it.
Yeah, I think that is a great rumor to try to squash. That one's on Facebook, and the rumor is actually that about your mom, her car being parked at like Warsham's and him getting
Okay, so here's the
Chris,
answer. The
unfortunately,
final answer to
It's
this.
not just an
Let's
online
finish
rumor
squashing.
because people have driven up to me and personally spoken
Oh, yeah.
about this.
Okay,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, can I make the statement?
I wish
This is very simple. This conversation has nothing to do on social media. You want to have this conversation, Seth? You call me, you get Heather, you get Chloe on the phone.
that's fine.
Hell, I'll do you one better, and I will get Bobby and Carter on the phone, and we'll all sit down and have this little fucking powwow.
We're not going to have a powwow like that, but I would
Well, then guess what?
the situation, and I would love for it to be private because I believe a lot of what is happening right now should not be public.
I
So
agree.
explain to me why you don't want Bobby and Carter involved.
I didn't say I didn't want Bobby and Carter involved. I
Yeah.
said I was referring to your tone, which is very angry.
Oh, I'm very pissed.
I know that. I think we just all need to take a breath because no one is accusing anyone of anything. We are.
Well, I don't know who this lady is that's talking, and you know, God bless her. But yeah, there are accusations being thrown, and I don't know. I'd probably be a little pissed, but I wouldn't be. I don't know if I'd be this pissed.
Trying to dispel
No,
things
there's a
because in
rumor.
turn, dispelling these things will
You're
take
so full of
some
shit.
of the BS.
See, now, I mean, that's just uncalled for. I think powwow is also probably not something that people use much anymore, Chris.
Of you.
Last night we let the liquor talk.
Oh, that was uncalled for. And Chris, I mean, I do understand your anger, but I know these ladies. I don't know Seth. I just know what I've seen. But these ladies are not full of shit.
I didn't say they're full of shit. I was referring to Seth being full of shit with his comment.
Well, that doesn't help matters.
No, it doesn't. So when you brought him on the show and he wants to start this shit, that isn't going to answer questions. It's going to spiral into the shit that's in. So we can set this shit aside and answer the questions that you got.
Okay. I would like to move on very quickly, but I will say the public opinion is not going to improve unless we can take a deep breath.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but he doesn't, like, you're coaching a 40-something-year-old man. He's not going to change. You know, everybody thinks that, you know, you try and tell him, oh, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. He doesn't. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to act the way that he wants to act. That's it.
And I
And-
know you are frustrated.
You have no
I'm
idea what
I'm
I
not saying I know
You
how
don't.
frustrated you are.
I've
But
been frustrated. I've been mad. I've never been in this situation. I've been in other situations where I've been frustrated, where I've been mad. And yeah, sometimes you do blow your top, but you know, now's, I mean, he's just not doing himself any favors, but I don't think he cares. I really, truly don't think he cares about public perception, right or wrong, good or bad. And it's not, it doesn't bode well for him, but I don't know. I don't know why.
You are frustrated. And I am not saying that's not valid, but this is not helping.
If it's
And-
not helping, then you shouldn't be talking about it on social media.
But
I'm
here's
trying
As a
to-
PI, you should have said, you know what? We're not going to answer that question. We're going to do that privately. That's where that
I
should have
did
went.
say that actually several times.
You
And
did.
listen to that
Yeah.
recording later.
So let's move on to the next question.
I just got to say one thing. You want the public's help. You want them
We need
to be
them.
behind both of you.
Yeah, we
And
need them to find Sebastian.
exactly. And it's a very good chance that somebody in the public.
And
We'll find
that's
him.
my biggest frustration is that we
oh,
all
okay.
collectively
This is the
have to
PI.
deal with all of this instead of focusing on Sebastian.
All right. And it's a disadvantage to Sebastian. Really, it's sad because we're not any closer to finding him as long as we're all arguing like this.
And mods in chat, you're removing these comments, I hope, because I've been removing some too. And we've got extra people, extra mods in chat. Anything rude that said they're banned, they're gone. Okay. So we'll get them out there as quickly as possible. And let me go through chat really quickly here to get some more questions here. You've been on here for many hours and I so appreciate this. I really, really do. So yes, you can.
Can you, well, you can't throw us in a back room so me and him can talk real quick.
I wish I could. I wish I had that ability, but I don't. I can take you both off and you can call him. Do you want
No,
to do that?
let's finish this first, and we'll do that after the fact. Let's get these questions out of the way.
Chris, listen, you may not like my opinion, but when we got rumors out there, if you and I squash these rumors, then they stop being rumors and everybody just looks at the people who are spreading them like they are shit. I was not trying to upset you. I'm trying to squash these stupid rumors that are literally filling up my privatized email address, their inbox with crap, which is crap. It's not helping find Sebastian, so if it gets squashed, then people will stop. Not everybody, Lord knows, there's still going to be stupid people out there. But it will stop. It will, I mean, literally, it will stop.
My report is
The
real
only thing
simple,
I
Seth.
want is to find Sebastian, Chris, and there are rumors out there that we have to put an end to. You may not like them, but we have to put them into them publicly. Because right here, we get in rumors. So people know. When I told them to fuck off, if they didn't like it, they know that I meant fuck off because they don't like it.
So stop right there, Seth. Stop.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a grown man of a missing child, like a child. And I don't co-sign that. I don't think that's responsible. I think the way that Seth is addressing him is fine. I don't think that he's been out of bounds, but Chris is definitely on his heels. I mean, he definitely feels like he's being ganged up on, and that's what he does when he feels like that. And he lashes.
Help you with something real quick. You want rumors to die? You want to stop with all the stuff that's coming up and flooding these PI's inbox? How many terabytes do you want of videos where you have gone out there and you've said some very harsh things that should never have come out? You never should have. And now don't take this the wrong way. That is a conversation for later.
Has anybody ever had a conversation with somebody and then they said, don't take this the wrong way, and then they took it the right way? I've never been a part of that. Whenever somebody says, don't take this the wrong way, you better gear up to take it the wrong way, because it's probably coming in hot and it's going to be the wrong way.
Let me finish.
Things that I put out there.
Once again, you can't talk to a fucking log.
Come on.
Okay, what? Okay.
Now that's out of bounds. That's ridiculous.
Chris,
Let me finish.
Chris, that's not productive.
It's not. So let me finish.
Wow.
You all are playing one-sided here.
No, we're not.
I don't think that's fair.
So then tell Seth when I'm talking, let me finish.
Okay, Seth,
Okay.
let him finish.
Yes, Seth, please let him finish.
There's conversations you've had that should have never been out in the public light, and you know it. And because you did that, it started a lot of rumors. Own it, accept it, and move on from it. I told you on Sunday, I supported you. I would be there for you no matter what, how ugly this got. But I'm not going to stand by and watch you disrespect me, my family, my wife, or anybody for that matter. A lot of rumors got started because you went on social media and you opened your mouth and said some things you shouldn't have said. Accept it. I'll show you the videos.
You don't need to show me videos.
Now, in hindsight, that is a conversation you and I need to have offline, away from everybody else, in our own private conversation. You and I, we sit down and we can talk.
But he said that you're not getting back to him.
Literally, please. You had people watch us doing it Sunday.
But he sends you an email and he says he's not getting a response for a week or so.
Well,
They were snapping pictures because they were trying to get some juicy information.
Trish,
So let's answer.
can we move on to the question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's. There's a question here in chat, and I've heard this, And Chris, this is a good one I'd like to clear up. Is
Okay.
it true that Chris told Seth, you will find your son at church?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's
What he stated was if I went to church, maybe I'd find my son.
so in other words, if you went to church and talked to the Lord, is that what you were saying,
Yes,
Chris?
that is what the whole conversation in reference was.
I have a
Not
question for
you go to a church and you'll find it.
Oh,
Who's
hold
coming up
on,
with that
Seth.
crap?
I'm sorry, Chris, finish. I'm sorry.
I'm talking because why I understand, I see where people got that,
Right.
but that is a conversation that Seth and I had privately. You know, I'm sorry, but we're not going to sit here and drag certain things into this. It has nothing to do with it.
No, because that's like that's horse shit to say that about to somebody of a missing child, right? Maybe if you went to church, you'd find your son. What exactly does that mean? Because I don't think that that's an endearing thing to say to somebody. I think that what you're saying, is maybe if you were more godly, or maybe if you were a better person or a better Christian or a better this, that maybe your son wouldn't be missing. But here's the thing, Chris. He went missing on your wife's watch. That's one thing that you cannot get out of. That's one thing that's not going to change. And if it changes, then there's going to be a really big problem. But he went missing. Sebastian went missing on your wife's watch. How dare anybody suspect anything happened in that house? How dare us? I don't understand this. If you go to church, are you saying that he's in the clouds with God? That's how you're going to find him? What is it that you're saying here? I don't understand it. But you don't want to talk about it because it comes off sounding asshole-ish. That's French.
Seth, basically we should all go to church. We should pray. That's exactly what it was in reference to.
Understood. Seth, go ahead. It's your turn now.
There's better ways to have said it, Chris.
Okay, and that's
For
semantics.
you to think that I don't go to church.
Seth, I didn't say anything about you not
That's
going to church or
semantics.
going to church. Can we
Is
go
that
to the
gonna
next
find
question?
Sebastian?
No, it's not. Can we
Okay.
move to the next question?
All right, thank you.
Okay. How about this? Because you guys have been on here for almost 3 hours, and I really appreciate it. And I do think Chris and Seth need to talk off air.
Right, but that's already been established, and it seems like that they've already taken a shot at that, and it's not working.
Let's talk about what we do know. We do know, and this is how we started out the live stream. We do know that Sebastian was last seen publicly at Texas Roadhouse on Sunday. We know he was seen on camera taking out the garbage at some point.
Correct.
We know that there's a possibility that the cameras did not pick up Seth leaving the house because it was so dark.
Actually, Sebastian.
I'm sorry, what did I say? I'm sorry.
You
I'm so
said
tired.
Seth.
Seth, I'm sorry. You're not missing Seth. You're right here. Sebastian.
I'd like to be
Yeah, I understand. I hear you. Sebastian was not seen. A possibility that Sebastian was not seen leaving the house because it was too dark. Okay. There were certain scent dogs that hit on Sebastian. There were 3 of them that went down to the retaining pond. According to Chloe, that retaining pond has been searched.
It was actually been drained and it has been walked and searched.
Okay. So that's good. I think that's what we know about that night and the hours before he went missing. I think that's all we know for certain. Now, I want to ask all of you, what is the next step? Chloe and Heather, I'll go to you 2 first, and then I'll go to the two gentlemen.
I'm sorry, my dog was barking. What did you say?
That's okay. I said, what is the next step? What is the next step for you? What is the next step for the public? What would you like us to do? What do you think you guys are going to do?
Yeah, so this is a
Well,
really good point. And I heard a recording the other I think it was yesterday or today where, I think Chris has a way of saying things that they don't come off proper. Or he's intentionally just, being mean, because what I did hear him say was that Sebastian likes to pee or mess his pants. And the way that he says that, it almost seems like it's just a complete choice. Like if he's having issues with that it's a choice. I don't know Sebastian, and I don't know, the medical, all the medical ins and outs, but I know that there are children that do that a lot of times because either they're scared or insecure or something along those lines. Yeah, so but it's Seth could freak out about that. And I'm surprised that he doesn't. I'm glad that he doesn't, but
Right now, we are really focused on getting Q in. Chloe and I are working on a report and some maps to try to give them an idea of areas that need to be searched or researched. And I think really the next big step is getting us all on the same page and working together. And even though this is a mess right now, I think this is a huge step in that direction. And I'm hoping that, as I said, Chris had called me earlier and just right before the show started, and I messaged Chloe and was kind of talking to her about what you guys were going to talk about, because I wanted to, some of the things that he cleared up with me, I wanted to make sure she was aware of. But, reaching out to me and then reaching out to you guys on the podcast tonight, I think it's a huge step in the right direction. He's angry, but once we get past that, I think maybe we can all work together and start putting our heads together on where we need to look for Sebastian.
Thank you. Very good. Chris, what would you like to see us do?
I don't know who you're referring to here. He says, get your hair done. Let me see. My hair's kind of done. I got a haircut. Let me see what else here. Take a minute. You're smashing a cracked platter. You're hurting, not helping at this point. Are you talking to me? For real? Or are you talking about somebody else? Because if you're talking about me, that's absurd. If you're talking about somebody else, I'll agree. Oh, crap. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
But what do you think?
At this point, keep spreading the flyers, keep keeping his name out there in of good graces, not of in a negative light. Spread the words. If you know something, say something. Don't wait 2 weeks. Don't wait 3 weeks. I told Heather the same thing. There's so many tips that come in weeks later instead of the moment that they come in. When you get these tips, you call 911, you call TBI, you don't call these PIs, you don't call Seth, you don't call us, you just call the law enforcement agency. Keep spreading the flyers, spreading the word, prayers. Trust me, keep the prayer warriors out there. We need them.
I agree. And I think, because of all of the noise, people have not been reminded to continuously search their properties. And like I said before, everybody else came on here. There's a lot of really large properties in the area, and the terrain is treacherous in a lot of areas. And things get missed. So I think it's important to center it back to the local level, first of all, because this has become national, and nationally people are giving their opinions. We need the community to come back together and search their acres and acres of property.
Yeah, so I don't think that the problem is giving him airtime, but or anybody airtime. I mean, I think that law enforcement does kind of sit back and just kind of watch this stuff, and Maybe they're letting it play out for a reason, or maybe they just have no idea what happened.
Because I believe he could be very close to home.
Mm-hmm. There you
Now, I
go.
will say this much, that everything that she said is exactly the same thing law enforcement's been pushing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not comfortable searching, call law enforcement. They, I'm sure, can work in getting a team out there to search the property. You know, please, everybody that's searching, do not. I can't stress this enough. Please do not just walk on private property without having prior permission. Please.
By the way, there's comments in chat and we're removing them. Chris has been searching. Okay. He has been searching. Just because you don't see him searching, because you personally don't see him, doesn't mean he's not searching. So that needs to stop. Okay. That needs to stop right now. And Seth, what do you feel the final word should be?
I need people to keep the faith. I need people to keep faith that we will find Sebastian. I don't know. I don't know what people's mindset are right now, but it doesn't need to be about me. It doesn't need to be about Chris. It needs to be about Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian is the goal. Sebastian is what is lost. Sebastian is what used to be found.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Just for he's here for me.
I am so sorry.
My son is missing. I need people to continue with the flyers, as Chris said.
Mm-hmm.
BBI has already stated that most of their tips do come in from flyers. I have
Okay.
I have 100% faith that the humanity still exists out here, but we can come together. Heads up, eyes open, see something, say something. Contact FBI, contact TBI, call 911 for your local. Tell them that, you think you just saw the missing child from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Get them on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. At the same point in time, if you feel that they're not doing it, you just fix it. Law enforcement is short-handed. All it takes for evil things to exist is good men do nothing. And that's good females too. I'm not, it's just for evil to exist and continue is good people they do nothing.
Right.
Don't fall into the simplicity. On your way to work, on your way to the corner store,
Mm-hmm.
on your way to Walmart, you might see my son. You
Absolutely
might
right.
see him, and I need you to say something. I need you to call 911 immediately. If you're not in Sumner County, I need you to call 911. After you call 911, call TBI, so that way they know that 911 has already been called. I have found that law enforcement groups do not communicate with each other. And I don't mean this as a negative, but I mean this as a Facebook lead came through. And I called Lebanon, which is here in Tennessee, and they didn't even know that my son was missing.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I will second that with Seth. There's a lot of people
They
out there
don't communicate.
that don't know locally.
Right. They don't communicate, and they need to. They absolutely need to.
Well, I'm not saying communicating. I'm just agreeing
It's a
that he is
short-handed.
saying that there's a lot
Not
of
everybody
folks.
gets the information that is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody forgets to do a pass down, and the next officer on duty doesn't get the information that he needs. So he doesn't even know. It's not his fault. The officer before him could have been working a 16, or have even been working more than a 16, which is illegal. But We still have to have law enforcement out there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I just need everybody to work together. The rumors are killing it. The rumors are killing people's time. And that's the one thing Sebastian doesn't have.
Right.
So if you've already called TBI with your information, but you think it might be a rumor, if you heard it from Joe Blow down the fucking road, you're not helping find my son. You're part of the problem. People out there listening that are doing the death threats, I don't see you at my door. You're going to sit there and pick on people. You're a coward. You are a coward. And if somebody has my son, understand that I love him. And I need him back.
Mm-hmm.
I need him back. Not that I want him back. It's I need. Because my life has stopped. Because
Seth,
my son is not here. And I find it hard to function.
can you ladies get him
A
a hold of
regular
me?
life without my son here.
No, Chris, like let him talk, man. He needs to. He wants to say this. What are you doing? Just like let the man plea for his child. Let him hurt. Let him cry. Just leave him be. Let him be.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Seth.
What did you say? Go ahead, Chris.
Right. Seth, I know what you're doing and I understand the plea, but hang tight, man. You and I we need to get off this panel. You, me, Katie, PIs need to get on a phone call.
We've heard this before. I mean, is it going to happen?
Absolutely.
Not on here. Our message is simple. Find Sebastian, you see it, you say something, you call it in. Don't wait. Don't go down this track, man. Don't. I'm looking out for you. Don't.
Can I just say one thing? I don't want to ever discourage people from reaching out with information that they think might be pertinent. Now, getting the same tip.
All right. Well, I think that probably enough. I baffled again, and I don't know. It's a lot to process. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys being here, though, and we'll talk more about this, I'm sure, in the future. I've had about all I can handle for now. It's ridiculous. So thank you guys. Thank you for the gifted memberships. I thank you for the super chats and the stickers. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for showing up. Sorry I haven't been around in a couple days. Like I said, my grandma's doing fantastic. Thank you for all the prayers. For my grandmother. And keep these folks in your prayers. All of them. Whatever you think of any of them, there needs to be some divine intervention. Somewhere, somehow, a miracle needs to happen. Somebody needs to have a softened heart. Somebody needs to tell the truth. Somebody needs to speak up, and somebody needs to find Sebastian. Pray for them all. There is no picture. Yeah, make sure to check out the witness box. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Podcast. You can find it on Google Podcast, Amazon Podcast, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. And new episode tomorrow. Keep everybody in your prayers. Summer Wells still missing, almost 3 years now. We have not forgotten about you, Summer. I promise. Even though there are people that want me to, I'm not going to. I made that promise a long time ago. Yeah, have a good night.